Welcome to Motorize.de. Today we're taking a look at a true classic from Mandello del Lario, the Moto Guzzi T850. We'll break down what makes it such a special touring machine, where it really shines, and the areas you'll want to inspect more closely before buying. The T850 isn't a motorcycle for chasing numbers. It's for riders who value character, the longitudinal V-twin, the shaft drive, and that unmistakably mechanical feel on the road. We'll also cover which equipment details can vary by model year and genuinely matter, like Guzzi's signature linked braking system or the Dell'Orto carb setup. So if you're thinking about adding a T850 to your garage, this is your compact, honest rundown, plus a clear recommendation on who it's truly a great fit for. Gern, aber im Moment fehlt der eigentliche Text. Bitte sende den deutschen Voice-Over-Text für Szene 2 bzw. den vollständigen Abschnitt, dann übersetze ich ihn idiomatisch, natürlich und ansprechend ins Englische. In the mid-70s, Moto Guzzi faced a clear brief: turn the V7 sports performance into a motorcycle built for serious touring. The result was the T850, a long-distance machine that distilled the brand's defining strengths: strong torque, rock-solid durability, and a chassis that stays composed even when fully loaded. A key step forward was the Tonti frame, which held the engine far more rigidly than the earlier loop frames. At speed, that translated into noticeably greater stability and sharper, more precise handling. At the same time, Moto Guzzi leaned into a safety feature closely associated with the mark at the time: the integral braking system, where the hand lever and foot pedal operate separate circuits. The T850 became the blueprint for later touring Guzzis, such as the 850 T3. Gern, mir fehlt nur noch der eigentliche Text von Szene 4. Bitte füge den deutschen Voice-Over-Text hier ein oder lade ihn als Datei hoch, dann übersetze ich ihn idiomatisch, natürlich und ansprechend ins Englische. At the heart of the Moto Guzzi T850 is a longitudinally mounted 90-degree V-twin with 844cc and a classic pushrod valve train. Fueling is usually handled by a pair of Dell'Orto carburetors, which, when properly synchronized, deliver a smooth, even idle, and strong pull through the rev range. Depending on the version, output and tuning sit around 50 to 55 horsepower, paired with a 5-speed gearbox and a low-maintenance shaft drive. On the chassis side, the T850 relies on Tonti's rigid double-cradle frame, with a telescopic fork up front and twin shocks at the rear. Braking typically comes via twin front discs, while the rear was either a drum or a disc depending on model year. Another hallmark is the long wheelbase, giving the bike excellent straight-line stability. Gern, mir fehlt nur der eigentliche Text von Szene 6. Bitte sende den deutschen Voice-Over-Text oder ein Screenshot-Foto von hier rein, dann übersetze ich ihn idiomatisch, natürlich und ansprechend ins Englische. The T850 doesn't try to look polished for its own sake. It's built with purpose, and that's exactly why it comes across so convincingly. The broad tank, the long, flat bench seat, and those cylinder heads sticking out to the sides instantly signal what you're looking at: a classic Guzzi tourer. The cockpit is typically laid out with 2 large round dials, easy to read, straight to the point, no gimmicks. The riding position is comfortably upright. The handlebar is nice and wide for touring, and the foot pegs are placed so long days in the saddle work without turning your knees into a contortion act. A lovely, often overlooked touch are the signature chrome mufflers, which underline the tail line and visually add length. Most versions also roll on 18-inch wheels, giving the bike a calm, planted stance, true to the idea: travel, don't pose. Gern, mir fehlt nur der eigentliche Text. Bitte sende den deutschen Voice-Over-Text für Szene 8, dann übersetze ich ihn ins Englische. Idiomatisch, natürlich und ansprechend. Out on the road, the Moto Guzzi T850 feels more honest and manageable than its weight would suggest. The shaft drive delivers that unmistakable Guzzi character. Crack the throttle and there's a faint lurch to the side, but once you're rolling, the drivetrain is smooth, quiet, and perfectly suited to everyday use. The 844cc engine pulls strongly from low revs and is a joy on country roads because you don't have to chase the red line to make progress. The 5-speed gearbox is tough, but it rewards a firm, decisive shift. Anything half-hearted and it tends to push back. Comfort is clearly part of the bike's DNA. The telescopic fork and twin shocks are set up more for touring and soak up rough pavement with ease. At higher speeds, the long wheelbase adds reassuring stability, while tight low-speed maneuvers remind you of the mass, especially with a full tank and luggage. Gern, mir fehlt nur der eigentliche Text. Bitte füge den deutschen Voice-Over-Text für Szene 10 hier ein oder lade ihn hoch. Dann übersetze ich ihn idiomatisch, natürlich und ansprechend ins Englische.